Welcome to all you Cancerians. This is your monthly horoscope for Cancer for April 2016. Two main things are going on with a fixed star that is called Antares. Mars is going retrograde on that fixed star. And I'm also going to talk about Mercury retrograde a tiny little bit, traveling together with the asteroid Vesta. So let's get started for you Cancerians. So actually there's a lot of emphasis on your health and on your day-to-day life. So for a lot of people that is work, but it can also mean just your day-to-day routines, you know, the 3 meals you, for instance, take every day or make yourself every day, bringing the kids to school. That's a day-to-day thing. That's a day-to-day routine. So it's a bit of an emphasis there, and there is a possibility of, not now, but in August, September time, that you are going to make a big change towards your day-to-day routine, towards your health, and towards your work. So Mars is going retrograde there, and it's in Sagittarius, and it's on that fixed star Antares. So what is Mars gonna do? It's in your 6th house. Mars is where your energy is, and where your drive is, and your desire, and your intentions. So when Mars is in your 6th house, that in itself means a bit more emphasis there. When it goes retrograde in that house, it means a lot of emphasis there, and maybe a bit of obstacles even, but in order to improve that 6th house, that day-to-day routine, or that health, or that job that you're doing. So expect that there is something good out there happening for you Cancerians when it comes to those areas of life around August, September time. But now is a hard work that is done, especially in April, because Mars goes up until 8 degrees of Sagittarius. It almost touches the fixed star, which is Antares, on 9 degrees of Sagittarius, and then it goes backwards. So what is this fixed star all about? This fixed star Antares is one of the most important fixed stars, because it is associated with Mars, and it is associated with Jupiter. So it is about drive and action and so on. And that fixed star, it is related to the military. It conveys mental alertness, strategic ability, and at its best, courage. At its worst, war, of course. But at its best, broad-mindedness and courage, and being very, very strategic in order to take the best action. So that's the flavor of that fixed star. Now, Mars in Sagittarius is also a bit like, I act because I have an ideal. So for you Cancerians, this again has to do acting, yes, but thinking twice before you act, because it goes retrograde. Being strategic in your actions, whether it is a new job you want, whether it is your health you want to improve, do it strategically, do it step by step, don't overdo. Because Saturn is there in that house as well. And when you go too far, Saturn will either block you or present you the bill, you could say. So it's very much of a boomerang effect if we tend to push too hard. So it's very tricky to do these days in April. But when you do it in 2 words are key here, for every sign actually. 2 words are key: courage and integrity. Integrity of your intention, that is. Because Mars is, it all boils down to what is our intention? What do we want to do? And when it's in Sagittarius, it's not the best to do that for the most selfish kind of reason. It's actually the best when you try to line yourself up with the divine and with God, if you believe in God. If you don't believe in God, with your higher self. So this is a lot of getting back into alignment, you could say, with what is best for all. Not just for yourself, also for yourself, but what is best for all. And how do you do that? You do that by trial and error and adjusting, because it's a mutable sign, Sagittarius. So it's like a trial and error, and it's what you get as an output from what is going on in your world. You see the results. So a lot of Cancerians are going to change jobs. A lot of Cancerians are going to act in a different way when it comes to their job. A lot of Cancerians are going to tackle their health. They're going to battle a certain disease. They're going to, if you are ill, for instance, this shows that you are really thinking about how is the best way that I can act upon this, but in a wise way. You know, Sagittarius is the wise sign. It's wise because it gathers information and experience at the same time, so it tests it. It's going through the experience as well, and that's how it gathers knowledge. So very interesting time for you Cancerians who want to change jobs, and I think the best decision is to take it around August, September time, if you can, of course. But you can apply yourself already now, and expect some blockages. Expect that things will not go always as you want. That's Mars retrograde. It will demand a little bit of your courage, but also a bit of your patience. And I think Cancerians in general are patient signs. Yes. Another thing. So this is all about, is if you are a Cancerian who says, I want to change my job, I want or I want to do things differently in the way that I like my job more. This is a good testimony that this will happen. But again, only around August, September time when Mars goes direct again, because now is the hard work that you can do. Now another thing, Mercury goes retrograde as well at the very end of the month. So it's on the 29th in Taurus, and Taurus is an earth sign, which goes very well with water, which is, you are of the water element, and it's in your 11th house. Now this is nice because the Mercury retrograde is not bumping into Uranus or Pluto like the last time with Capricorn. Now the Mercury, not only direct but also retrograde, will bump into Jupiter and Pluto, but in a nice aspect, in a trine. So this is overall not a bad Mercury retrograde. And Mercury with Jupiter and Pluto means the way that we think, the way that we communicate is deep, and it is intense and meaningful. And for you Cancerians, it's about friends, because Mercury will be in the 11th house of friends and of aspiration. So not only friends, but also what do you want to do in the future. So it's connected to that Mars retrograde. So and another thing that's very interesting, a little asteroid that is called Vesta. It's traveling together the whole month, next to conjunction Mercury and Vesta, traveling together through Taurus in your 11th house. This is very beautiful because Vesta is about purity, it's about focus, and it's about devotion. So there is some devotion there towards maybe a new or maybe an old aspiration that you had, that now you're going to think about it, especially the end of the month and ongoing in May. Or there is maybe a friend that you're going to reconnect with, is the possible as well. And you are very dedicated to this and you want this really to happen. But mostly in general, it's about your aspirations. You want them to be pure, you want them... So it's connected to intentions, aspirations. I want them to be pure. I want them to be in line with the divine, so I can be the best version of me. That's basically it, what's happening with you Cancerians, and that's very nice. And there is... in Aries, a new moon. So new moon and full moons are very important for you Cancerians. And on the 7th, there is a new moon in Aries. So this means a new beginning. When and Aries is about, you could say, your work as well. You know, it's a double whammies here. There's some new beginning there. And the full moon is in Scorpio. which is a fellow water sign, which is your 5th house, and that is on the 22nd. So there's also, you could say, this development, this coming to fruition, that has to do with maybe with kids, that has to do maybe with a project, a creative project of yours, or a hobby. So that's good as well around those times. Having said that, I think it's overall not a bad month at all for you Cancerians. There are changes to come, but with good intention, integrity, I don't think you can go wrong there. You can only be responsible for yourself, especially with Saturn there in your 6th house, and also a good time to improve your health and to be with the Mars there, absolutely, to make some major improvements when it comes to maybe you're doing a routine, or maybe you're doing some fitness or some yoga, and you're really very, very much devoted, and you really see the results around August and September time. So that's good. I wish you, but maybe before that, there's a bit of a trial and error. So maybe you're starting with yoga and then you're saying, nah, I don't really like that. I'm going to do some swimming here. Because it's the energy of trial and error. Thank you very much for listening, you dear Cancerians. I wish you a very good month and see you next month. Bye-bye.